Have you ever opened up to your family, only to feel more misunderstood, judged, or even burdened afterward? As we grow older, there's a deep desire to stay close to our loved ones, to be honest, transparent, and to share what's on our minds. We do it out of love, out of trust, but sometimes that openness backfires. Instead of bringing us closer, it creates distance, tension, even regret. You're not alone if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you said too much, or like your personal choices are now being questioned. The truth is, not everything needs to be shared. And that's not secrecy. It's wisdom. It's self-care. It's a way of protecting your peace, your independence, and the relationships that matter most. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 powerful things you may want to keep to yourself after 65. This isn't about building walls. It's about setting gentle boundaries that give you space to breathe and live on your terms. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how a little silence in the right places can bring more calm, more respect, and more control back into your life. If you've ever felt exactly what I'm describing, type 0 in the comments right now. I want to know you're here. And if you find these insights helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you can take better care of your health and peace of mind every single day. Let's begin. Number 1, the whole truth about your finances. Money. It's one of the most powerful forces in family life. It has the ability to unite us in support and security, but it also has a way of quietly breeding tension, unspoken expectations, and even distance. As we grow older, there's often a pull to be more transparent, to lay it all out for our loved ones, how much we've saved, what we hope to leave behind, or even financial worries we quietly carry. On the surface, it feels like a gesture of trust, but sometimes too much honesty in this area can bring complications you never saw coming. The truth is, revealing the full picture of your finances can subtly, or not so subtly, change how people treat you. If your family learns you're financially comfortable, you might start noticing the subtle shifts. Increased expectations, quiet assumptions, even the occasional suggestion cloaked as concern. And if, on the other hand, they find out you're struggling, that too can bring its own burdens. From overprotective worry to well-meaning but intrusive advice. Money has a strange way of reshaping relationships. And once those dynamics change, it's incredibly hard to turn back the clock. There's also something sacred about independence, especially as we age. The more your financial details are out in the open, the more others may feel entitled to weigh in. Some may even start making decisions for you, believing they're helping, when in fact, they're quietly taking control of the choices you've earned the right to make. Before you know it, you may be told where to live, what to spend, and how to plan, all because you shared just a little too much. That doesn't mean you should go through life with secrets. If you have a trusted financial advisor or an executor for your estate, it's wise and necessary to keep them informed. But outside of that, sometimes less is more. Being selective with what you share allows you to preserve your dignity, your freedom, and your peace. It protects your future from unnecessary stress and helps ensure that the relationships you built over a lifetime are rooted in care, not financial expectation. If you've ever felt the energy in the room shift during conversation about money, you already know how delicate this subject can be. In the end, your finances are yours to protect, to manage, and share only when and with whom you choose. Number 2, non-urgent health concerns. As the years pass, it's only natural that our bodies begin to speak a little louder, with new aches, slower mornings, and unexpected discomforts. And when those moments arise, it's instinctive to turn to the people who care about us most. We want them to understand what we're going through. We want to feel seen, heard, and supported. But sometimes, in the effort to be open, we end up overwhelming the very people we love. There's a fine line between keeping your family informed about serious health matters and unintentionally burdening them with every minor complaint. Perhaps you've lived this already. You casually mention a stiff joint or a few sleepless nights, and suddenly you're met with a flurry of concern. Suggestions start flying. New diets, new doctors, new supplements. You didn't ask for help, but suddenly you're drowning in it. Most of the time, their intentions are good, especially the younger ones. They mean well, but that care can quickly turn into control. Without realizing it, your family may begin to make decisions for you rather than with you. You might hear things like, "You should really be more careful," or "I think it's time you slowed down," as if the decades of managing your own well-being suddenly no longer count. There's also an emotional consequence we rarely talk about. When every small health issue becomes a family topic, people may start seeing you as fragile, even if you feel strong. And once that image takes hold, it's hard to shake. Suddenly, you're left out of plans. They hesitate to invite you on a trip. They assume you can't handle something, all because of a passing comment about your back or your knees. Yes, your health matters. And yes, the big things should always be discussed, especially when support is needed. But guarding the little things isn't about hiding the truth. It's about preserving your independence, your sense of self, your dignity. You have every right to manage your health on your own terms, without a chorus of opinions at every turn. Sometimes, holding back isn't denial, it's empowerment. And in many cases, silence can be the most respectful way to stay in charge of your own life. If anything I've shared here resonates with you, type number 2 in the comments. I'd love to know you're here and listening. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support helps us keep creating content to uplift, inform, and remind you that this chapter of life still belongs to you. Let's move forward. Number 3, the regrets you carry. With each passing year, it's only natural to look back, to revisit the choices that shaped us, the doors we didn't walk through, and the versions of life that might have been. Regret is a quiet companion that visits us all at some point, whispering what-ifs and could-haves into our thoughts. And while reflecting on the past can be deeply personal and even healing, not every regret needs to be spoken aloud, especially not to family. Sometimes, what feels like honesty or heartfelt reflection to you can land as something very different to those you love most. You might feel the need to share that you wish you'd taken more time with family, or made different choices in your career or relationships. But your children may not hear your words as insight. They may hear them as unintended blame. What you meant as, "I wish I had done more," might echo in their minds as, "You weren't enough." Even expressing a long-held dream you never pursued can be misunderstood as a subtle rejection of the life you built with them. And those kind of words, even when said with love, can linger, creating guilt, sadness, or distance that was never intended. This also applies to relationships from the past. Mentioning an old flame or a friendship that once meant the world to you can stir insecurity or confusion, even if it's harmless nostalgia to you. Over time, those reflections may begin to shape how your loved ones view you. Not as a strong, grounded person they've always admired, but as someone dwelling in memories that cannot be relived. That's why some regrets are better held quietly, processed within your own heart. It's not about hiding the truth. It's about protecting your loved ones from emotions they weren't meant to carry. You can learn from your past without letting it define how others see you. You can honor your journey without opening wounds in people who love you just as you are. Because the past, however complex, can't be changed. But the way you carry it, with grace, with wisdom, with peace, is yours to choose. If you've ever felt the weight of unspoken regrets, and this message speaks to you, leave a number 4 in the comments so I know you're still with me. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so we can walk together through these life reflections with honesty, strength, and care. Let's keep going. Number 4, your financial decisions and assets. As we grow older, few subjects become as delicate or as potentially complicated as money. You might believe that full transparency about your financial life will help avoid tension within the family. But in truth, revealing too much often invites confusion, unsolicited opinions, and even conflict. Detailing every aspect of your savings, investments, or long-term plans might seem like the responsible thing to do, yet can open the door to stress you never intended. Different generations often carry very different beliefs about money, and what starts as a simple conversation can quickly turn into advice you didn't ask for or pressure you didn't expect. Sometimes loved ones truly mean well, but their questions, suggestions, or concerns can feel more like control than care. And unfortunately, once certain people become aware of your financial status, their interest may grow in ways that feel invasive, even opportunistic. Maybe you've seen it before. A peer confides in their children about their finances, only to find every decision they make afterward is second-guessed. Or perhaps you watch a friend feel endlessly pushed, told to downsize, change investments, or contribute more to future generations. It's one thing to seek advice. It's another to feel like your autonomy is slipping away just because you shared too much. And once those details are out in the open, you can't undo them. There's also the quiet erosion of control to consider. When others start to view your financial decisions as flawed or outdated, they may feel entitled to intervene. Their words may sound caring. Are you sure you need that? Or wouldn't it be wiser to gift some of that now? But the impact can leave you feeling scrutinized and second-guessed. That doesn't mean you should avoid all conversations about money. Having a solid estate plan and sharing essential information with the right people is important. But you're under no obligation to reveal every detail, how much you have, what you spend on yourself, or whether you've made a recent investment. Those choices are yours to make. And if keeping certain financial matters private brings you peace and the freedom to live without judgment, then that isn't secrecy. It's wisdom born from experience. Number 5, the unspoken expectations we place on our children and grandchildren. As we move through the later chapters of life, it's natural to hope that the love and sacrifices we've given to our children will one day be returned. Not out of obligation, but from a place of mutual care. We may not say out loud, but deep down, many of us carry quiet expectations. That they'll visit more often, that they'll check in, that they'll be there when we need them, emotionally, physically, even financially. We may hope they'll live closer, help out when we're feeling weak, or show appreciation in ways that feel meaningful to us. And when those hopes aren't met, not because they don't care, but because life is full, complicated, and often overwhelming, it can leave behind a quiet ache. But here's the thing. Expectations, when unspoken, have a way of turning into silent disappointments. Disappointments that quietly erode the warmth of the relationship. Children and grandchildren are navigating lives with their own pressures, their own dreams, and their own emotional limits. They may love us deeply, yet still fall short of what we silently hope for. And when we let those unmet hopes show through in subtle comments, distant behavior, or lingering sadness, they feel it, even if they don't know exactly why. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have needs, but it does mean that love flows more freely when it's unburdened. Number 6, your honest opinions on family conflicts. Family relationships are rarely simple. As we age, we often find ourselves quietly placed in the middle of emotional storms we never asked to be part of. Siblings clashing over inheritance, adult children holding on to past resentment, or relatives whose personalities just don't mix. It's almost universal. If you've lived long enough, you've seen these patterns before: grudges that resurface, old rivalries reignited, the same arguments playing out with different faces. And in those moments, the urge to speak up, to offer guidance, to bring clarity can be powerful. But as you may have learned the hard way, stepping in often doesn't calm the fire, it feeds it. Maybe you've tried to help resolve a conflict, only to have both sides misunderstand your intentions. Or you shared your truth, only to find that your words created distance, not healing. The difficult reality is that family tension often plays out on its own timeline, and rarely because of something you said or didn't say. And even when people forgive each other, they don't always forget the things said in the heat of division. When you take a side or voice a strong opinion, you may unintentionally become a permanent part of the wound, even long after the dust has settled. This is especially true when it comes to younger family members. A comment about a son-in-law, a daughter's parenting style, or someone's life choices may come from a place of care, but can land as judgment. Even a passing remark can leave a mark. People rarely forget how you made them feel, especially if it made them feel criticized. What you meant as love or protection might be received as rejection, and that emotional distance, once created, is hard to bridge. That's why, as you grow older, the strength often lies in silence, not in speaking. You don't have to pretend everything is perfect, but you also don't have to be the referee, the fixer, or the voice of reason in every disagreement. Sometimes, the wisest thing you can say is something simple and neutral. I hope it works out for everyone. Or, I trust you'll figure out. These words protect your connection without dragging you into the chaos. They show care without control. Because in the end, preserving your peace and the peace within your family doesn't always come from saying more. Sometimes it comes from knowing when to say less. Number 7, comparing generations or family members. It's something many of us do without even realizing. A quiet comment, a well-meant observation, a passing thought. When I was your age, your sister was never like that. Back in our day, we knew how to sacrifice. These words aren't meant to hurt. Often, they come from a place of pride in how we were raised, or from genuine concern for a loved one who's choosing a different path. But comparisons, even when spoken with affection, can cut deeper than we think. Each generation grows up in a different world, with different challenges, values, and opportunities. And each person, even within the same family, walks a unique journey. What felt like resilience to us may feel like pressure to them. What we saw as responsibility, they might see as a limitation. When we compare, we may believe we're offering perspective, but it can feel like judgment. Children and grandchildren may start to pull away, feeling misunderstood, or worse, like they've somehow fallen short. And when one family member is quietly praised in contrast to another, it can sow seeds of tension that linger beneath the surface. There's wisdom in honoring the path you took, while still accepting the roads others choose. You don't have to agree with every decision your loved ones make, but offering acceptance without comparison creates space for trust, closeness, and honesty. Instead of saying, you should be more like, try asking, how can I support you? Instead of, when I was young, try, tell me more about what that's like for you. Letting go of comparisons doesn't mean letting go of your values. It means choosing connection over correction and love over being right. Final thoughts. As we bring this conversation to a close, I invite you to pause and reflect on the insights we've explored together. What we choose to keep private, especially as we age, isn't about creating distance or building walls. It's about safeguarding what matters most: your peace, your dignity, and the precious bonds you share with those you love. In a world that often encourages us to overshare, there's quiet wisdom in holding back. Not every thought, feeling, or decision needs to be laid bare. Sometimes, protecting your inner world is the most loving thing you can do, both for yourself and for your family. Think back on your own experiences. Have you ever spoken from the heart, only to later regret how it changed the way others saw you? Or have you ever chosen to stay silent and realize that silence was a gift, not a loss? With age comes clarity. We begin to see what truly matters. Not the need to explain everything, but the freedom to choose what we share and what we keep sacred. There's power in that. There's peace in that. By being thoughtful about what you express, you remain the author of your story. You protect your independence while deepening the relationships that are built on mutual respect, not expectations or explanations. It's not about pushing others away. It's about honoring your journey in a way that invites connection, not control. I'd love to hear from you. What stood out to you today? Leave a comment below and share one thing that resonated and how you might apply it in your own life. Your voice matters here, and your reflections help inspire others in this community. If this message spoke to you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating content that uplifts, informs, and empowers. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.